Alright, so this video here, it's something I made a few years ago, I think. I mean, I was working at the jail still, so that was definitely a few years ago. And it comes from sort of an issue that I had in, um, like middle school and high school. Pretty much like when we started talking about conic sections. Um, I found it very strange that the way we're talking about conic sections, it became really, really obvious that the circle and the hyperbola were related. And the hyperbola has two branches, and but relative to a circle or an ellipse that's sitting in the center, there's really should be four branches because there's two possible hyperbolae with two branches. So it kind of occurred to me fairly quickly that, the claim that the mathematical cone should be not just a cone, not just a simple little peak, like an infinite base down at the bottom that comes up to a point. But like the claim is that a mathematical cone has two of those. It occurred to me that really a proper mathematical cone should have six of those that all converge at an origin point. So what I did a few years ago is, had a little bit of free time and this kind of popped back into my mind. So what I did is I went into Blender and I just built one of these objects. And relative to the camera for the rendering system, I made it invisible, and then I put a plane that cuts through it, and then we just rotate that six cone through the space, and you can see what's happening here. Most of the shapes that you end up with are hyperbole. Right there is nicely centered. You can get a circle in the center, and then the circle turns into an ellipse, and as it does, eventually at the end, two of the hyperbole, or the ellipse, and one of the branches of the hyperbola that is across the center there, it turns into a parabola. And then, so like here we're coming towards the origin there, when we just went past it, and now we're rotating, and now we're coming to an edge, and then we came past. Yeah, it happens really quickly. It's hard to narrate it as it's happening, but you can kind of get a sense for what's happening here. And you can see that there's always at least four pieces on screen, except for maybe right there. But then what you get is a single hyperbola right there. You get a single hyperbola, but it just collapses into a the vertices are the origin, so they're really just straight ass lines. And this also solves another problem, because I always found it was weird that, well, why does the hyperbola have two branches but the parabola doesn't? It should, as you can see right here. It should have two branches. Alright, as that ellipse grows into a parabola right there, there's two parabola. Right, there's two parabola going on right there. Right there. So I think this is a more appropriate way to handle conic sections. There is definitely more going on, and it's not as simple as the classical view of conic sections, but when you get your head around it, it makes a lot more sense. It explains why all of the things are happening. Why is there a circle or an ellipse sitting in there between the hyperbolae, between the branches of the hyperbola? What's going on there? You can see what's happening. You can see it right here. Nothing groundbreaking or anything, but yeah, it's something that kind of bothered me in the back of my mind for a long time. Like, I don't think we're handling conic sections quite correctly. And, this doesn't give us any new insights or anything, I don't think. But